The Gravity of Sentiment, a chronicle of moonflowers. Lunar Base Alpha had seen better days. Established as a pioneer camp for lunar settlement, the cracks on its plexiglass domes were the badges of its war against cosmic radiation and micrometeoroids. Dr. Carol Quentin, the base's chief botanist, often felt like she had more in common with her greenhouse, packed with an alien assortment of plants, than with her fellow humans. She discovered the moonflowers by accident, as all great discoveries tend to be. Lurking within a crevice in the Sea of Tranquility, she found a strain of indigenous flora that not only survived but thrived in lunar gravity. Quentin christened them moonflowers, taking a poetic license she rarely afforded herself. In the feeble tug of the moon's gravity, the flower petals unfolded like fractals, revealing micro-layers of opalescent beauty. Something about the way they refracted light reminded Quentin of stained glass, and briefly of Earth's cathedrals she'd never visited. Quentin's colleagues, hard-nosed engineers and physicists, were unimpressed by her lunar horticulture. But then she brought a moonflower back to Earth, and everything changed. A moonflower auction at Christie's set the record for the highest price ever paid for a botanical item. Billionaires and celebrities fought to possess a flower that had been touched by the ethereal grace of another world. They didn't know, and neither did Quentin, that moonflowers carried a different sort of grace, a distortion in the emotional fabric of humanity. The first signs were subtle. New owners of moonflowers reported feeling waves of inexplicable emotion, sorrow, elation, nostalgia, and at times a terrifying clarity. The flower, it seemed, had a gravitational pull on the human emotional spectrum. Psychologists were baffled. Physicists were skeptical, but the artists thought they had found a new muse. They were wrong. A paradox of emotionality engulfed the world. Traditional understanding of psychology disintegrated under the tidal forces of moonflower-induced feeling. Laws were passed to ban the ownership of moonflowers, but it was too late. The seeds had been sown, both literally and metaphorically. Black market moonflowers became talismans for cults that embraced the chaos. In clandestine chapels and underground speakeasies, they worshipped the emotional turmoil as a divine revelation, chanting hymns composed in languages of raw sentiment. Dr. Quentin watched from her lunar observatory as Earth, once a blue gem, spiraled into a whirlpool of conflicting ideologies, emotional outbursts, and inexplicable wars. She was simultaneously horrified and captivated. Her scientific curiosity warred with her sense of ethical responsibility. Had she unleashed Pandora's bouquet upon the world? On a whim, or perhaps guided by the hand of lunar fate, Quentin placed a moonflower next to a traditional earth rose in her lunar greenhouse. What happened next defied all logic. The moonflower wilted as though crushed by an invisible emotional burden. The earth rose bloomed in ecstatic glory. Quentin jotted down her observations, even though there was no one left to peer review her papers. Earth had been declared a no-contact zone by the Lunar Council. It had become a planet of chaotic sentiment, unsuitable for rational discourse. But as she looked at the wilted moonflower, Quentin felt a rare, unfamiliar sensation in the low lunar gravity. She felt the weight of guilt, but also the liberation of an accidental discovery that had reshaped the universe. In the silent cathedral of her greenhouse, among the relics of Earth's past and the moon's enigmatic present, Dr. Carol Quentin understood that she was neither savior nor destroyer. She was a cosmic gardener in a universe that defied understanding, tending to fractals of emotion that unfolded in endless, mysterious layers. And so, she decided to let the moonflowers grow, leaving their seeds as offerings on the barren lunar soil, knowing well that each seed carried within it an entire universe of inexplicable sentiment. After all, in the grand tapestry of cosmic chaos, what were humans but fleeting stitches, undone and reknit by the eternal hands of absurdity?